Lance, how do you feel like the bye week went overall in terms of just how you guys dealt with it?
I thought they handled it well. It's always slightly different when you can tell that there's not a game coming up, so to speak, but all in all, we challenged the guys. Again, the attitude's been good, work ethic's been good. I think we got a lot accomplished. We tried to take some reps off a few guys, try to work getting healthy, but also address the things that we need to get better at.
Nice.
I'm sorry, last thing, we did get a chance to scrimmage some of our young guys and get a chance for them to play some live football again. Sorry.
How has West Virginia looked with Rich Rod this year comparatively to what you might have expected at the end of the season?
Well, again, the pace at which they play is extremely impressive. Saturday's game, first of all, it's a big, a big testament to their staff and their leadership and their program, because they had a disappointing loss on the road, okay? And then to get that group rallied, obviously, in a rivalry game, and to play the way they did was highly impressive. To be down 2 scores in the fourth quarter and to keep battling, it's a physical, gritty bunch, and it's a testament to the culture he's established in his short time there. He's implemented a lot of new players. Still, I believe, still trying to get clearance for other players and additions to get on the field for them, and those guys some of them have been impactful early. Again, an excellent coach through his whole career, and you can see the way it's been, especially in offensive philosophy and how they're going. So again, it'll be a big test for us. And I'll say that every week in here, guys. I start thinking about things you're going to ask me. I'm like, okay, every week we're going to talk about how close the games are going to be, how good everyone has been coached, and where it's at, and that's what's making college football, especially in our conference, so exciting.
Lance, Jalen's had a stellar start to the year. When you look at the tape from this year compared to last, is there anything that you think is different?
I think maybe a couple times last, in the Missouri game, he tried to do a little bit much again. But all in all, I think he's continued to play confidently within himself and not trying to put everything on his shoulders. I thought maybe there was a time or two in the game where we're looking to get something going. And face it, he's done that in his career and created a lot of plays for us here and that. So and that's a hard one to totally reel in and stuff. But like I continue to say, his maturity and understanding, and he's been that way all the way through, is he doesn't show frustration and panic in what he's doing. And again, this team's going to need that throughout conference play.
Yeah, and when you look back at the Missouri tape again this past week, is there anything that you maybe stood out or thought differently than before?
No, again, I think it became apparent that we did not win the battle in the trenches. They were more physical than we were. We struggled immensely to get a running game going. We had way too many missed tackles. I think we had, over 20, and they had like 4. So the yards after contact were extremely as lopsided as the missed tackles were, which again, we were unable then offensively to create rhythm and we were able to create some big plays, but not enough to sustain drives, which put us in a position that they probably almost had twice as many plays as we had. So all of that was it showed itself on game day, and it kind of reinforced it after watching it.
Maybe you mentioned it there, but looking back through just non-conference play overall, what were some of those areas that during the bye week you really did want to work on the most?
Again, being a physical and fundamental team that's going to tackle well and again play physical up front. I still think our defensive front, for the most part, has been active and physical and doing things. But offensively, we've got to be consistent up front in doing those things to give us the true balance that we need to be the type of offense we like to be. Defensively, we've shown flashes of being a really good defense and being multiple and athletic and doing those things. Again, playing a really good opponent that, some of that did not reach the standards we need to play winning football.
At Missouri, we saw guys like Gage and Joe at least make the trip. How much does that bye week help them? And do you think they're kind of closer to being able to get out there and
They
play?
both have made progress. You can't tell you that there was, Gage is further along than Joe, and where that'll play out. But it's getting there, yeah. And again, both positions against a team that's going to run a lot of plays, depth is going to be an issue. And having depth or playing depth, I shouldn't say it's an issue. Utilizing depth in games like this is going to be important, and guys have to be able to step up and play well.
And when you do go against tempo teams that go really fast, how does that change the way you guys practice?
You're going to ask that. I was ready for that one this week, Michael. So, yeah, we've changed it, through the years. In fact, we talked about it early in the week about different ways that you you run your scout team. Some we do, which we do every week, anyway, is offense versus defense, and we run our offensive tempo plays. Utilization of unlimited coaches gets a lot more hands-on, so you can do a lot more at the line of scrimmage, and we run plays where we rotate the skill positions and keep the linemen right at the line of scrimmage and run through. We ran a boatload of plays yesterday in practice. In fact, to the point where we would probably have to look and say we could slow this down just a little bit to make sure. But reps and getting used to that. Again, on game day, it's always a little different because it does move. But I think we've got a decent plan to address at least some of that pace of play. But I've done it where guys turn their backs to the line of scrimmage. I've seen where the defense runs around the goalpost and then runs back to get lined up. I've seen, we talked about all the ways through ever since some of this has come into play, of different ways you try to get your defense hustling, moving, reacting. It's still going to come back to having a sense of urgency to get lined up, get the call, process, but more importantly, communicate to one another that we're all on the same page.
West Virginia's got one primary quarterback, but they've got at least 3 guys who can take snaps there. What goes into preparing for that?
Yeah, I think he said he might have played 5 in this game, which or something, was going to maybe do so. Again, their ability to there's film on different guys. You watch what they do, but again, it's still going to be. Is there a package of plays for a guy? And West Virginia did that the last couple times we played them, even under Coach Brown, where they had another quarterback and another package of plays. We try to get an idea what they can. Because we only have so much time to get stuff practiced. So you try to get an idea of identity, what they're going to be with those certain quarterbacks. But I think they played 2 on. Did they play 2 on Saturday or 3? Again, to kind of find out what each one of them do, what type of throws they're most comfortable making. Some of those will start to show tendencies.
And then I wanted to ask about Cam Pickett real quick, because he played limited snaps in each of the last 2 games. Where's he at kind of health-wise and getting
He's
better?
not 100% right now. We kind of keep working through it. I commend him because he continues to work through some of it. He's one of the guys that we limited last week, and hopefully we can get him closer to 100% by Saturday.
That's what was it like being able to get the staff out and recruit? You go out and recruit.
Yeah, it was good to get out to games. We haven't totally. We had some guys that were out even Saturday. So getting everybody back in and getting on this game was the priority yesterday. Non-practice day today. We'll probably do more of a recap of our travels from Thursday through Saturday. But it was great to get out and watch high school football, see some of our guys, and a continual evaluation on others. It's and again, to be able to do a lot of that locally has been exciting as well.
Hey, Coach. West Virginia has been a tough opponent, especially the last 4 matchups, and how close the game was last year.
Mm-hmm.
What would it mean for the guys returning to be able to beat West Virginia at home this year after such a close game?
Yeah, it's a great question because, as you said that, I was quick reflecting. I mean, it's been close games, overtime games. even as, I think that was our last game in 21, if I remember correctly. You know, and that was, as we were starting to make noticeable improvement on the field, I thought we really battled and had chances even back then to win games. So again, you hope it's one of those things that personnel-wise, it'll be a balanced matchup that you got to go out and play well. But again, to open up conference at home and have a chance to play against a team like this is exciting, and I think our guys understand that we need to play our best to have a chance to win and get this conference season kicked off the right way.
You talked about the running game. What are some things you do mentally as much as anything when it's just not going and keeping those guys in there? And
yeah, there's, you know, it's like anything that like when a running play doesn't work, if it's just, and I'm not saying it was Kobe Baines, I'm just saying the right guard. If it's the right guard all the time, you either look at things that you can get that guy to do better, or you put his backup in. But a lot of times when a play doesn't work, it might be this guy on this play or this guy on this play, and there's different things that happen. And when you're very multiple like us and you're not running a ton of plays, you have a tendency then to go to another play and another option sometimes, and again you end up kind of spinning your wheels a little bit, that you're trying to find the group of run plays and things that'll balance and make some things happen. So again, being successful on first down, a lot of different ways can help you and do those things, and that was a disappointing, frustrating day. But if you remember the day we met in here before that game, we talked about how big and physical and athletic that front seven was, and they were, and it was noticeable.
you've got two guys that would run through a wall to get yards. Do you have to kind of rein them in when that's happening? Because obviously their tendency would be, I'm just going to run over somebody, and maybe that's not there, right?
Yeah, you know, and I talked to Daniel about it before the game that, this is going to be one of those games where you're going to have to fight for 2 or 3 yards, and he understood that and knew that. And I caught Daniel walking out after the game, and though he was disappointed, I think he understood that, it was one of those days that you got to fight through a little bit. And to Daniel's credit, his maturation through this has been good, because I think a year or two earlier he'd have been frustrated in a different way, and it was good to see. I think our guys owned it after the game, like we said, in all these different areas, and the approach has been pretty good on what we're doing to get that corrected.
And then just the other thing I wanted to ask you, I know you spent a lot of time on your team and yourselves this week, but how much does the bye week, especially this early, give you a chance to just look around the league and say, this is kind of where it's at, and this is what I see right now? Because obviously there's so many teams now, and you don't know them all, and the portal and all that stuff too.
Again, you gotta take it within what your time allows you to do. So, but like people said, did I catch a little bit of some of the games Friday? Yeah, very little after I was done attending the games that I attended. Right. So you get a chance to see that. There were games on, of course, on Saturday. Get a chance to, watch different games. A couple different times. I had 3 games on at one time, so catching part of what people are doing. Do you get to really analyze it right now? But you kind of get a sense of flow, and as much as you watch multiple games, what I'm watching for is sometimes some of the situational things that you all ask about. You watch a Georgia Tech team do a great job late in the game getting the field goal unit on with the clock running and execute a great kick. You watch other games where there's blocked punts and things that change momentum. You see a lot of different things in courses of games that we all try to prepare for, and you see how they go in different ways.